Hello and welcome everyone. In today's video, we are going to discuss a IT project delivery model. So whenever we start a new engagement or we start any large scale program or we start any project, the very first thing we need to derive is a delivery model. What it means, how we are going to start that engagement, starting from requirement from the business user till the last point when it is deployed into the production and the end customer start using it. So how this end-to-end things are going to work, how this program will be executed, how the planning will happen, that all comes as part of my delivery model. So anyone who is going to start a engagement or program and project, today's video is going to be very useful for them. It's gonna tell everyone that how we are going step one till the last step, and how things will be tied up with each other and how things will be executed. So please watch this video till the end. For today's session, I am using this slide, and I have kept this slide on the shared drive, and the link is given in the description section. So you can download this slide, and it's a completely editable version. It's freely available. You can download it. You can and I hope that this slide can be used as it is for majority of our viewers and the listeners. And if you need a little bit customization to fit into your own world, to adjust the process what you follow, please feel free to do so. But I'm still hoping this should suffice the purpose for many of the listeners. Without further delay, let's start on this slide. So this slide is in 3 sections. The leftmost is a governance one, the rightmost is a reporting. So I'll cover these 2 aspects later in the video, and the middle part is our delivery model. So I'll start with this one. So if you look at this, I have put a 4 quadrant here: planning, execution, acceptance, and feedback. And the core of it is Scrum. So for this video, I have taken an assumption that the engagement what we are pursuing, we are using a Scrum framework. We are doing it in Agile way. So when we do something into a sprint, a project which we execute in a sprint, there will be different ceremonies like sprint planning. We'll have a daily stand-up, we have a sprint demo, we have a sprint retro. So one more thing which I have added here is innovation sprint. So what happens is whenever we start any program or project, there will be a lot of innovation needed to make that program as a success program. Why so? Because there has to be a way where we mature our processes. There will be a way where we need to improve how we do continuous integration, development, testing. There might be a need of dashboard and tools and that maturity. So definitely innovation sprint is the one where team can come together. They can work on those aspects. So this will be beyond your program and the project delivery. And that also gives a team some breathing time and some motivation for the team to do something which is outside their project delivery. So it is very important that if we want our team to mature over the period, if we want our team to learn new things over the period, we should bring this innovation sprint in this overall model. Now if you look at the center, so if you work in any Scrum framework, the backlog grooming is always at the core, because the backlog always should be a healthy backlog, always should be readily available. And CI, CD and CT, which is continuous integration, development, deployment and testing, is a core of it. So that's inner circle which I have just described. Now I'll go to 4 quadrant, which is planning, execution, acceptance and feedback. So let's start with the planning part of it. So whenever a project comes in, right, or let's say a series of projects are coming in, you're already a part of some engagement. So very first thing will be that you will be having a business users who are bringing a requirement, they're giving it to team and team is working on it. So many organizations, it happens that there's a lot of work from contract creation perspective, or a lot of governance sort of work. So this is a recommendation. It is not a mandatory that you can have a role of something like delivery manager or a demand manager or release manager or program manager. The Scrum doesn't say that this role is mandatory, but if you have a such nature of customer engagement, then feel free to bring such a role. That role will be sitting somewhere between the business user and the Scrum team. So business users submit the intake requirement, submit the business requirement, and then the Scrum team is the one who actually estimate it And estimation is one part of it. The second part is a high level delivery plan, because we have to let business team know that with this feature or with this feature, this product can be delivered on what time. So this is important, and when the business is giving a requirement, we send it back with the estimation, we send it back with the delivery plan, and if that's okay for both of these parties, then we can move forward. One of the important aspect here is, if you can see this arrow here, from here to here, we definitely need to engage our run operations and our DevOps team here, because what happens is the operation is one which is sitting close to the production. They have a lot of learnings from the production, so they can definitely help in the prioritization, picking up the right tech debt, and writing a and building a right product roadmap. So it is important that operations is doing equal amount of partnership here. So that's a planning where we have business user, where we have team coming in, we have run operations, we take the requirement, we estimate it, and then we put a delivery plan. Once this planning is done, then we move to execution phase. So in execution, we'll have a product owner who will be actually refining the requirement, doing the prioritization for the team, and then the team is building an increment. One of the important aspect of the Scrum is here the inspect and adapt. So they have to inspect, they have to learn from their mistakes, they have to improve as they continue on. And then the sprint demo is one of the important ceremony here, where development team builds an increment, and the product owner review that increment, and then he gives a feedback. He or she gives a feedback, and then they do a prioritization. And again, one of the important aspect here is that when we are doing a sprint demo, we are building an increment, we are taking requirement from product owner, we are taking feedback from the product owner. At the same time, we also need to include our operations team here, we need to include our DevOps team here, because at the end, this is the team who is going to support my operations, my production. DevOps is the one who is going to decide and derive how we are going to deploy this into production. So it is very important that they are engaged in each and every stage of this delivery model, and we are taking consistent feedback from them. Now let's come to acceptance part of it. In many organizations, what happens is that the business users are part of those sprint demos, where product owners look at the increment. We also have the stakeholders from business, and they also come and join those meetings. In many organizations, it happens they are not part of those meetings. So if that's the case, if they are part of the sprint demo, then we don't need this extra and additional phase here. But if it is not, and then it is important, then we have another user acceptance test, which we call UAT, where the business users are coming in, the product owner and the team sitting together, giving a demo to the business user and taking their sign off. So once it is done, another important aspect is that we have to turn it over to the support operation, because we have to give this increment to the support operations, and they are going to go and deploy it in the production. So this turnover council is important, that we turn it over to run team. And now here another important aspect we have to do is that we have to do some dress rehearsal. Let's say because there's a DevOps team, there's a development team which is keep on deploying this in a low environment. So the run team has to come forward and do a dress rehearsal, so that they know how to deploy it in production, because once it goes live, then run operations takes care from that point onwards. So this is done, and then it goes to feedback loop, which is very important, because when it goes to end customer who is actually gonna go and look at the product, play with the product, use the product. So any feedback is coming in from there is very important, and that will decide my future product roadmap. So incident and problem management is a key factor here. We have to make sure that we have this is in place. And if you look at this cycle, it is coming from planning to execution to acceptance to feedback, and it again goes back to planning, because the feedback which is coming from the production, it will again go to operations team, and operation team will look at this feedback, and then they will give this as the input for the planning. So this is how the cycle gets complete. We take a requirement from the business user, we build an increment, we take a sign off, we deploy it to production, and then take a feedback from there, and again it becomes a part of the planning. So this is how this whole delivery model works. And the important aspect of this delivery model is the DevOps. We have to always make sure that the DevOps is the key, run operations is the key, and they are engaged throughout the delivery, starting from requirement till it goes live. Now I will cover this governance part of it. So governance is going to play a very major role in any delivery model, because there's a lot of stakeholders. If you look at this delivery model, there are a lot of stakeholders, there's a lot of process involved, there's a lot of tools involved. So we have to make sure that we have a right governance in place. So what we see as a governance parameter, so one is the business pipeline and capacity, because businesses keep on giving the requirement, and then you have a Scrum team who is delivering the increment. So do you have enough and healthy business pipeline? Do you have enough team and the skill or capacity available to deliver this pipeline? So that will be part of my governance, that I do a mapping between pipeline and capacity. Then I'm creating a contract, I'm putting a delivery milestone, so I have to put a governance around it, that my contracts are right, it is covering all sort of risk, assumption, dependencies, open items, and then I'm putting a milestone which will be met, and my contract will be obliged. Another governance will be on product backlog, health and readiness, because that is important. We are building an increment here, so all the time our product backlog has to be healthy. The another important parameter is the program management. If we are doing a large scale program or large engagement, then as I said, we'll have some role as a delivery manager and program management, and how they are doing their governance, that is very important. And the budget and schedule and the quality comes under program management. So these are some of the governance parameters which we need to follow to make this delivery model success. Now, how we do this governance? We do this artifact and reporting. So if you look at this, first thing, the demand and capacity view. I'm talking about pipeline, I'm talking about capacity, so I have to build some view, some artifacts, some documentation where I can look at the demand and capacity view, and I can see how much work I can take and how much additional work can be taken, how much initial or additional capacity need to be built in future. So this is one of the important artifact in a delivery model. Then we'll have a program plan which will cover my start to end dependencies, open item, risk, assumption. So this is very important artifacts. So these are some of the artifacts which are not a Scrum artifact, but these are additional artifacts when we are delivering a program which is majority of service-based industry, a lot of contracts being created, a lot of third parties are involved. So these are the additional document and artifact we need to create. Then we'll have a sprint report. After every sprint, we'll publish the sprint report. We'll see the velocity of the team. We'll see how the effort is being burned. Through the burn down chart. So these are the very important parameters from development team perspective. Then we'll have a UAT effectiveness. When the business users are coming in, looking at the product, are they happy with the product? Is it the increment is actually the increment which can go live? So this UAT effectiveness is another important parameter from reporting perspective. And then we go live. When we go live into the production, at every stage we involved our run operation, we involved our DevOps, product owner, business user. So with this delivery model, there's a expectation that when we go live, we are going to have a good product out there. So we have to measure the effectiveness of that. And then ultimately, whenever a program is being live or project is being live, it will have some business objective and business goal. So we have to assess or to our progress with respect to those KPIs. Those KPI could be revenue, those KPI could be increase in customer base, those KPI could be net promoter score. So ultimately we have to assess the success of the project based on these business KPI. So this is how IT project delivery model works. You will have the complete end-to-end cycle of this delivery model. You will have governance in place, you will have reporting in place. And if I just summarize this slide, one thing which all need to understand is competency at the core. To do all these things, we need to have enough focus on the competency of the team from technical perspective, business perspective, Scrum perspective, and all those things, skill, be it people, be it tool, whatever is needed to make a program success. So we always need to have a competency as a core. The focus should be there. And then this Scrum methodology will have a risk management through transparency, through inspection, and through adaptation. That is gonna play a big role to manage our risk. Engaging runoffs and DevOps team early in the life cycle is gonna give added advantage to us at each and every stage. And ultimately, in this living model, we can see it's a one-team approach. All the stakeholders are coming together and marching towards a one goal, keeping a focus on the product. So this is how I will summarize this slide. Hope this video has given you good insight how we can build a delivery model starting from requirement till it goes live. What are my governance, what are my reporting parameters? As I said earlier, this slide I have kept in a full editable version. This is in the shared drive. The link is given on the description section. You can download it, you can use it, and please share your feedback through comment section. If you have any further queries, I would be more than happy to answer them, and hope this is gonna help you in your own project or program to come up with the right delivery model. Thank you very much.